And we are back with more cybersecurity talk on how to get a job with absolutely little to no experience in cybersecurity in the first place. You know you want it, and you know you like it. So let's go ahead and talk about how you can get one of these jobs. So in the previous video, we talked about setting goals. You need to decide a direction that you would like to head in, or narrow down to a direction that you want to generally head in when you're trying to go out on a new life journey. It's no different from if someone's going to try to sail all the way from the United States to the United Kingdom. If that was something someone wanted to do, the first thing you need to do is know where that destination is going to be. You have to have a compass, and then you have to head out in the correct general direction. Otherwise, you could just head out aimlessly and get no results with anything you want to do. And that brings us to today's topic, which is self-awareness. You need self-awareness even after you've set a goal. You might sit there and say, I'm going to make $500,000 a year as soon as I graduate from school next month. That would be nice. That would be real nice. But for most of us in the world, if we don't have some unusual or extraordinary connection where we can do something like that, and someone hooks us up with this big $500,000 gig that we then have to figure out how to keep if we find out that we don't have enough experience to have certain competencies. It's another reason why if a big opportunity is handed to someone, they can't necessarily keep that opportunity if they haven't developed a little self-awareness. And what I mean by self-awareness is understanding simple things like, what do you enjoy doing? What do you hate doing? It's pretty common for people to sit there and say, well, I should like this thing because it's prestigious, or because this is what my family or my friends think are cool. And so if everyone else seems to like this thing, then I should like this too. And for those of you who already have developed a significant amount of self-awareness, this video is probably not going to be something that's going to be news to you. You're probably like, yeah, that sounds about right. You got to figure these things out. But you have to come to your own, where you think about, what do I like to do? What is it that I want with my career? And one of the really big things to decide on, huge, in my opinion, probably one of the most important things to decide on when you're trying to go from translating a goal to an actual job, like a career goal to job, is you need to make some priorities based on who you are. Now, these priorities come in two forms. One is you care more about money and you want maximum pay. You're just like, I want to make as much money as possible. Give me that cash. Well, if you're that person who wants all the money, that's going to drastically sway what opportunities are going to be available for what you're looking for. And so once again, if we have goals, we need to narrow those goals with our own preferences, because you don't want broad goals. You want goals to narrow and become more and more specific as you go. Experience will make your goals a lot more specific, which is another reason to just get started. But right now I'm talking about building that self-awareness to figure out certain things. So do you value money? That's one, right? That's one core thing that we should think about. Or the other type of person who you might be is that you just want to enjoy your job. You want to make enough money, yeah. Like, maybe you'd be happy making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. Maybe you're not. Maybe you don't care about that difference between $90,000 a year and $102,000 a year. Someone who prioritizes the money, they're going to say, oh, no brainer, I want that $102,000 a year. It might not be worth it depending on what the type of work is. It might translate to lower hourly pay. Who knows? Or it might be a significantly better job in every way than the $90,000 a year job, including pay. you really never know. It has to do with the company, not necessarily the job. Because at the end of the day, you will like a job as much as you like your manager. This is something that is to be kept in mind. Once again, like things that go in our head. So if you want to like your job, then something like your manager will make a difference. Like, is it going to be a good manager? I'd like decent pay and an amazing manager. Or maybe you want to be a manager, but even if you're a manager, then you have directors above you. If you're a director, then you have VPs and whatnot above you. Otherwise, you're essentially an entrepreneur, which at that point, you're not trying to get a job if you're an entrepreneur, because you're trying to create a job. You're probably doing other things. So this is not the job for those who are running the company. So you have a boss if you're getting hired at a company. And if you're looking for a job, whoever's above you is going to determine whether or not you love or you hate your job. So are you a person who wants money, or are you a person who wants a job that you just enjoy going to every day, where you're like, I love this job's amazing? Different personalities. And there might be one person who will take a $75,000 a year job that they love, while another person's like, I'm not working for less than $190,000 a year. And so they just want to get to that point, and they want to, maybe they want to break $200,000 a year. Maybe that's something that's important to them. So this is important because at some point, if you're trying to build a career that isn't the type of thing that motivates you, then if you're building a goal, and let's say it's a 5-year goal, and you're saying, in 5 years I want to be doing X. It's okay for 5-year goals to change. There's a fear around, if I set this goal, like what if it turns out that this goal didn't work out? Or what if it turns out that I fail? Failure is okay. Because the thing is, the goal is you want goals to morph and mold into whatever makes you the best version of you. But you have to do things that both work out and don't work out. And honestly, most things don't work out. But my life goals were centered around, I wanted to do a lot of business and a lot of travel, and I wanted to make 6 figures. So like I went after those things. And so for me, I'm like, okay, how can we order this in a way that's going to work for me? And so then I had to figure out what jobs were out there. I wanted to get into engineering things, and then eventually it turned into cybersecurity. And, it's different for different people. I use myself as an example because I don't know what's going on in the inner workings of other people's heads at the level that I know what's going on in my head. I've heard what other people say, and they might say that they've had the same experience, but no one ever really does have the same experience with anything. If I'm holding a mouse and I'm just looking at it, well, someone else might have different thoughts or different opinions about whatever's going on in the back of their head if they pick up the mouse. And maybe be like, oh, wow, this is a nice mouse. Or, oh, this mouse is like so plasticky, or it's too small, or it's uncomfortable. Everyone has different perspectives and things that kind of change what the world should be like to them. And so when you're trying to look for a career, it's just very important to find something that you're going to want to stick with, because a 5-year goal is always going to fall apart if you go into things that you already know you hate. And part of trying things is to find out what you hate so that your goals can change and mold. And so your goals need to follow you. You shouldn't follow your goals, but you have to set goals so that you can start to sail in the right direction that's going to take you toward the goals that you need to get to. And so this is Ask Nato. I care about what happens to you in your career. I care about what happens to you in your life, because this is just something to me that's important to me. It's my career. And something that brings me happiness is building career, and I like job progression, and I like building business. I think it's really exciting. I think it's fun. And, I like teaching people the things that I've already nailed. And when I find things that work for people, then I like to share it and spread it around. So now I decided to start putting this stuff out on YouTube. So I made a class, and it's called Cybersecurity Essentials, and it's on my home site, noshapoint.com, which is a company that I run, but that company is also what supports the Ask Nato channel in order for me to be able to do this. And I did make a free cybersecurity training class that's for those of you who want to get into cybersecurity for the first time. Maybe you have no experience at all whatsoever. That's okay. There are jobs for you, and you can start a cybersecurity career as soon as tomorrow if you were to nail the interview, but might as well get started if that's something that you want. And keep watching, as I will get into the next video soon. We will continue. How exactly do you begin when you're trying to get into a cybersecurity career? And right now we have to have goals, and we have to have self-awareness and let those goals mold into us, because that's how you become a specialist. I'm teaching you how to become a specialist and someone who's valuable in the business world, valuable to others. You're always valuable to others, but in a way that people are willing to give you their cash. Go get that cash.